Stop the cap.
Don't forget to pick up my new book. It's on Amazon. The link is in the description box. I do want to make a short video. I'm going to address this nappy headed Jehovah video tomorrow or something like that. But I do want to make this video here because I think that whole Jamila Lemieux interview with Vance, there's three main women. I'm having incomplete thoughts here. There's three main women that should be that are like the archetype of the three types of black women that exist in the community. Like when it comes to mothers, let me be very specific. When it comes to black mothers, okay, would there be another type? Would there be a fourth type? I guess the fourth type would be like, wanted to be a mother, happily married with a man. Like that's the fourth type. That's the type that we don't have an example, here of. I guess. I mean, I don't know. I don't even think Shay Sade has any kids, so she wouldn't count. I need a woman that's a mother that would be a good example. And unfortunately, in all the spaces on the internet, okay, we don't have an example of mothers. All we get are a bunch of disgruntled women in some sort of way. So the three types of women are Ebony K. Williams, Six the Goddess, and Jamila Lemieux. Now, of these three women, right, if I were to ask which one, if she could do it all over again, wouldn't become a mother? Which one of them wouldn't become a mother? Not how they became a mother, but which one, if they could do it all over again, they would either not become a mother or they would only do it, after they reached a certain point and it was 100% the decision, that they want to make. And I would say that would be Six the Goddess. Because Six the Goddess got pregnant at 18. Six the Goddess, unlike most of the women that come online in the sisterhood and all the other stuff, she tells young women the truth. She tells young women, being a mother is not for the meek. It's not for the weak, right? Not meek, weak. It's not for the weak. Okay, you don't want to go this route. It does not increase your value. And see, Six is very unique because Six is fine enough to have been up to the mountaintop. Okay, Six has been in situations and environments where, dudes are inviting her on a cruise ship and everything. Six has been there. Okay, dudes ready to just be on my arm and let's go to the opera. So Six has been there. Okay. Ebony K. Williams has been there, and so, with Ebony is, let me not jump around too much, but I'm saying, so you got Six who, if she could do it over again, she wouldn't do it, or she would do it underneath completely different circumstances, a very mature outlook on telling young women, like, she's not on some misery loves company type of bullshit like how most women do. They go out there and tell women, have a 300-pound friend and be like, girl, you beautiful. Oh, girl, it's what's on the inside. Just fucking they whole shit up, right? Six ain't going to do that. Six going to tell you what the real deal is. Then you got Ebony K. Williams. I don't know what Ebony K. Williams' deal is, but again, Ebony K. Williams out of her own mouth said, Ebony K. Williams is going to be, in LA, filming her show. Ebony K. Williams is going to be in the lawyer conference in Florida. Okay, Ebony K. Williams is not, going to, be following a man. She's not going to do that, and neither is Jamila Lemieux, right? But see, Ebony K. Williams, on the other hand, okay, she's been in, just like Six, she's been invited to the mountaintop. But she just, she does not want it to be a situation where a man said, I'll put you here. I'll put you on this boat. Ebony is the type where she wants her name on the side of the boat. But yet she somehow wants a man that can afford to be on the same boat that she's on, to want, an equal partnership and want to be a power couple. And a lot of men that get themselves in that type of position, they're not looking for that. They're looking for fit, feminine, cooperative, submissive, right? They're looking for a woman to be added to what they're doing, not the other way around. So this is why Ebony, K. Williams, she went and she made a conscious decision. I want sole proprietorship. I'm gonna go off. I'm gonna have baby, and that's what the fuck she did. I don't agree with it. I think that a child needs their father and needs to feel that every day, right? Right, and we're only going to find that out as time goes on. Right, but I at least give her the fact that she is putting herself in a position to be able to provide for her child, and materially, she can say, I don't need a man, at least not materially, but there's other things that men are important for. Okay, for a child to grow up with of sound mind and all that, that's important. And the crazy thing is, both light skinned ass Jamila Lemieux and Ebony K. Williams both grew up, in situations where their fathers were not around. So it blows my mind that you have two women that grew up without their fathers, and they end up, one you have that's full steam ahead and thinks it's perfectly fine to be a single mother, and then Jamila Lemieux, who didn't want to be a single mother to begin with, right? But it ended up happening. Right. And again, I'm not even going to jump up and rip into it, because she acknowledged it on the show. She said, that what did she say? What was the word? That she was being irresponsible. Hey, good enough for me, because I think young women need to hear that, as opposed to this idea in the black community that somehow a woman can go out here and get pregnant and blame it all on the man when she's a single mother. Right. This whole it takes two to tango, but women have significantly more say on determining whether a child comes into the world or not. I'm not saying abortion is easy. I'm just saying women have the final say. Men don't. If the woman wants to abort the child and the man wants to keep the child, well, guess what? Guess who has the authority in that situation? The woman does. If the man doesn't want the child and the woman wants to keep the child, guess who still has the final say in that situation? The woman does. So all that, it takes two to tango. Yeah, it takes two to tango, but they don't have, equal decision making, Bill, once the egg hits the sperm hits the egg. They don't. They just don't. Right? So Ebony's on some, I'm going to do it by myself because I really just can't deal with men. Jamila, on the other hand, a little bit more complex. Because it seems like she didn't want to end up being a single mom. She saw what was going on. She wants love and all this other stuff. But I feel like Jamila got caught up in, like a warrior without a cause. And there's a lot of black women that are like this, right? They want to be married. They want to be in a relationship. They want to settle down. They want to have a husband. They want to have the whole intact household. But they're so anti-patriarchal that it's like they're just running around spraying man repellent. You know what I'm saying? Like again, that article that she wrote talking about she is a what did she say? I am a staunch feminist. I am a staunch feminist, unapologetic at that. And I'm like, do you think that possibly was a reason why your relationship didn't work out with your baby daddy? Because again, he clearly wanted a family. He wasn't no Ray Ray and Pookie. He went off and married another black woman and created a whole family with the other black woman. So I'm like, what did you do to fuck that up? I'm willing to bet that, again, it was all your rhetoric and all this shit, the LGBTQ, the enemy of my enemy is my friend, because y'all hate patriarchy. This is what be fucking y'all up. It's not just niggas just don't do, and niggas just, they just ain't shit. No, y'all come in there with this bullshit, and then it's like you completely forget that men are like the other 50% of the equation. It's like you just completely ignore that. What are his wants? What are his desires? What are his needs? You don't even consider that. You just go up there and then just start throwing shit at the wall and hoping it sticks. And then you want to try to redefine things and, oh, well, I think family should be, this nebulous and all these other definite. No, bitch. No, it was parenthood. Being a parent was never meant to be for a single person to do. We're not going to fucking normalize that. Just like we're not going to normalize homosexuality. If I took all the gay people and put them on an island, okay, that would be the end of the human race. Okay, that would be the end of the human species. Okay, if that's what you want to do, that's what you're into, I'm not going to knock it. Personally, I think that homosexuality should be, a paraphilia. Okay, but they've been fighting to make sure that it's not classified as that and make it like, oh, it's just some natural attraction. It's not conducive to life. I don't care how you want to break it down. It's not conducive to life. Y'all can try to in vitro, surrogate mom it all you want. It's not conducive to life. It is a paraphilia. Not supposed to be attracted to the same sex. If every animal on the planet was attracted to the same sex, that would be the end of everything. We need to categorize it what it is. Arguably mental illness. It's a paraphilia. But, again, these women, with this, well, like the weirdest thing about like the women that go off and they, want to have kids and all that other stuff is y'all will be on the bullshit that you're on, but then still want to have kids or still have kids. Where with men, it's like, no, we don't know. Like, we're not engaging in that. Like, in other words, if I can't bring a child into the world then I'm not doing it. It's called discipline. What would be the female equivalent of discipline? I don't even know what that would be. But seriously speaking, looking around, it doesn't seem that women are practicing vagina splin. I don't even know what you would call it, but they're not practicing it. You know what I mean? But Jamila regrets. She wanted to be a mother, but she regrets how she did it. And then what she's trying to do is she's trying to redefine things to make her situation, okay. And there's a lot of trauma there. If you go over there to Jamila's Instagram, and this is what all the women do, and y'all act like nobody fucking sees it. Okay, when y'all got trauma, you start dyeing your hair, you cut your hair. That's the first thing, which is weird because like you want men, you're attracted to men, right? But then you don't like how men judge you or how you don't have the same value that you did. So then you don't want to be attracted to men. So then you start doing things that men find off-putting, like dyeing your hair blue or chopping your hair completely, right? You start doing shit like that, right? Not wearing makeup, doing the Alicia Keys bullshit, right? Getting big, getting fat. Why is it when women get divorced, they like the white women, they'll get divorced and then go to the gym and then get it right and get it tight and shit like that? But then you get like other women, like y'all become single moms, and then it's just like you want a new man, but then like y'all ain't working out, y'all ain't like single moms should be the baddest bitches in the black community, in my opinion. Right? I understand you got the time schedule and everything, and it's not a whole bunch of time, and you're tired because you're raising a kid all by yourself and everything else like that. But I'm like, if you're really trying to attract a man, you should be the baddest bitch out there. I'm just saying, because there are some men out here that are just weak for beautiful women. You know what I mean? There's the six can go out there and get a dude and she say, hey, I'm a single mom. A lot of dudes, all the dudes online sitting there talking about, man, I would never, a single boss. No, ma'am. All this shit, bullshit. Let six be in front of them. And there's a lot of dudes that will go for six or a woman that is in that category of beauty. They would go for it. They'd be like, oh, man, it might could work. Man, I thought you don't think single moms. Oh, man, I was tripping, man. They be coming up a million fucking excuses. Because a lot of, despite all the men that think, SWP, subscribe, nigga. Yeah, I hear you. Yeah, blow the whistle, right? All that shit, right? Despite they come on subbing and all that shit in the comment section, at the end of the day, a lot of these niggas are weak when it comes to whatever it is that they would consider a bad bitch. And if she got a kid and that's the baddest bitch because it's not like regular dudes don't get bad bitches on a regular basis. They just don't. You know what I mean? They can't be dismissive about that. And the older you get, you know what I mean? Then your finances become more of a factor and all this other stuff. You can't just run off of I'm young and I look good and I got a couple muscles. And a lot of guys aren't even in that category. They couldn't even do that when they were young. You know, I've had to explain that to a couple of people. You know what I mean? Like I got a friend of mine. We talk about the shit all the time. Like, yeah, but you and I, we were having fun. We've had bad bitches. We've had 8s and above and shit. But there's other dudes out here, they ain't never had above a fucking 6. They've never had above a 6. So when they come across a 9 and the opportunity arises, even if they're being manipulated, they don't know. They're sitting there. If a woman even so much as smiles at them, they lose their fucking mind because they don't have the memories of 9s and 8.5s and 10s and whatnot. They don't. All they got is 4s, 5s, and a couple of 6s. So to sit there and say that we're like, we would be like, man, I done had bad bitches that look better than you, or you know, I like we can sit there and be like, it's like a dude that works at the strip club versus men that come into the strip club. The guy that works at the strip club, his mind is not blown when he's seeing women walking around in fucking leotards and stockings and heels and shit like that. He sees that shit every day. It's his fucking job. But the other guys, the guy that works at the office, the guy that's been working, you know, fucking 3 weeks straight without a day off and everything, he gonna come in there and it's gonna be like Candyland and shit. He gonna be losing his mind like a fat kid in a candy store. You know what I mean? So a lot of when it comes to the dudes and, you know, the shit that they'll talk about, what they will and won't tolerate. I'm like, have you ever had a bad bitch? Well, not really. I'm like, then I don't want to hear from you talking about, you know, if you come across a single mom, you would never date a single mom. I'm pretty sure that there's a level of beauty, a level of fat assness, a level of small waistness, a level of thick thighedness, a level of thigh gap with the diamond where you can see the space between her legs, that would make you reevaluate your position. Right? And you ain't gonna tell nobody. You ain't gonna come to the internet and be like, man, I was fucking with this single mom. No, you ain't gonna do that. What you gonna do is you gonna smash if you can smash, and you ain't gonna say nothing. But just your goofy ass is still gonna be in the comment section, probably talking about how, you know, single moms are the bane of your existence and whatnot. You ain't gonna tell anybody the truth, nigga. Let's keep it a buck. Okay? You know, so anyway, getting back to the 3 types of women and whatnot. Yeah, so we got Ebony K. Williams. She said, fuck it. I don't want to deal with men. I want to be a mother. I'm going to go that route. And whatever the consequences are, what the consequences are. 6, right? Got pregnant at 18. The guy that she was with intentionally got her pregnant. Right? She owns whatever part of that she contributed to. But again, she was young, didn't really have much life experience, ended up with a baby, and she's coming on the internet and she's telling young ladies, like, yo, this shit is not for the weak. Like, yo, if I could take it back, like again, her being in the beauty that she has and everything else, man, please, man, if 6 didn't have her son, like, that bitch would be gone. That bitch would be in Thailand somewhere. She'd be in Fiji on a fucking boat. Okay? On a boat. Muff, she'd be walking around as the new Naomi Campbell and shit. That's what the fuck she would be doing. Eventually, she would probably settle down and have a kid. I haven't heard her say that she has any, like a total objection of motherhood. She just would have went about it differently, and she would have leveraged her beauty to get as high and as far as she could fucking get with that shit. Okay, that's what she would have done. But the reality is her being a single mom and all that. She could have hid, stripper pass and everything. She could move to a different state. Ain't niggas going to no shit. Okay? But I'm saying, she could, what do you want to call it? She could, go somewhere else and basically start over. But the thing is, have there been men who, her being a mother kind of slowed things down, kind of hindered things? Yes, there has been. Right? So she's telling young women the real deal. Because a lot of these women, like, again, if we got 42% of black mothers becoming mothers under the age of 20, they don't have a fucking clue. And this is why you get so many of these black women that come online and they're angry Because when they finally discover and recognize what well-to-do, upwardly mobile black men who are childless really think about single mothers, and they're past their baby daddy, and their baby daddy just never got it together because he was 21 and she was 19 or whatever, and he got her pregnant and whatnot. Now she's mad because she can't enjoy those things. She's seeing those men were with other races of women, with the white girl, with the Latina, with the Asian girl, whatever, and they get mad. And then they go and start bitching and start talking all that divester shit. And then they start trying to prove their worth. And they come online and they talk about, oh, I got white zaddy. And zaddy want me. And oh, yeah, y'all niggas. Oh, and I divested. And right? They start talking all that bullshit. Because they mad. Because they butthurt. Because their own mamas didn't put them on game. Like, yo, you don't need to be getting pregnant in your fucking 20s. But, again, poverty, lack of support, all this other shit, parents that are stupid themselves can't give any fucking guidance because they're dumb, right? So again, we don't pick our parents. So if that's the dice that freaking the Most High rolled you, that's just the cards that you've been dealt. And this is why it's important for information like this to fucking get out, right? Then you got the Jamilas, right? Because, again, Jamila was 6, was the youngest one. She was barely out of high school when she became a mother. And then her mother died of cancer and all that other shit. A whole bunch of tragedy, right? Ebony, on the other hand, she decided damn near 40 that she wanted to become a mother. That was a decision. And the same thing with Jamila Lemieux. She said, "Oh, I was being, irresponsible." But I'm like, how much does irresponsibility fly when you're what? Like, how old was Jamila? Probably close to 30 when she had it. Like, so it's like Jamila's like what, 42 now? Her daughter's like 13. So 42 minus 13. So she was 29. There. See, I knew I was spot on. So she's 29. 29. What are you doing at 29 letting a nigga shoot the club up? What is that? What is that? You see? So and I don't have all the details of the shit. You know what I mean? But she wanted to be a mother. I don't doubt that she wanted to be a mother, but not in the situation that she is. Not with just being a single mother and basically being, the very woman that a lot of brothers have come to the internet, myself included, that have been heavily criticizing, black women about, since we came online. Because that was a major issue. It was like, God damn, I just graduated college, right? When most people graduate 4-year institutions, if they go to start at 18, they graduate, they're like 21, 22 when they graduate college. Okay. So you graduate college and you go out here and it was like, damn, like just dealing with black women, they already had kids. And again, if 42% of black mothers have kids under the age of 20, that means that by the time I graduated 2 years after, at 22, it had to be at least 50 or over 50, because by age 25, 77% of black mothers are already, have already had their child. And then you got the other, after 25, I think it's like only like 12% or something like that of black women who are going to become mothers after the age of 25. So again, when y'all get to, why these black men out here with these other races of women, that heavily has to do, is the reason why. Because they can't just go out here and find, childless women like that. Because, the percentage of women that are still childless falls off precipitously. And again, you got to remember that you only got, like, your windows for who you can date are really small, because women tend not to date men younger than them, right? And when people talk about these giant age gaps, that's like virtually non-existent when you look at the numbers. You're not going to see 15-year gaps between men and women dating each other and marrying each other and having kids. You don't see that. They're talking 2-3 years apart when you actually look at the numbers. So a lot of these guys sitting there talking about I can be 40 plus and I'm gonna go back and reach back and I can't beat them off a stick like Kevin Samuels and get with a 25-year-old are Delulu. Okay, if you're able to do that, then you're damn lucky. And I guarantee you that if you're able to do that, it's going to have to either you fine as hell or you got some serious paper. That's really the only way that that's going to pop off for you like that. You see? So, so like with Jamila, like again, you see, she got pictures on her gram with all the tats on her body. Like, why? Anytime women go purple hair, fucking tats on the body, all over the body, these big, giant, ornate, that's trauma. That's trauma. I don't care what. And the thing is like when it comes to Jamila, I just wish that she would just own that. Why do black women have to constantly come up with all of these narratives about who they are, what they are, where they're going, and what battle they're fighting, and how they're fighting the universe? And why do y'all do all that bullshit? Y'all sit there and y'all talk about how y'all have like, y'all have circles of women to console and or whatever, have counsel with and everything. I think y'all circles are trash. Because y'all just tell each other what you want to hear, and it's just a feel-goodery powwow. When men actually talk to each other, like if I sit there and I hit somebody up, I got a problem and everything, I don't want you telling me some bullshit that's going to make me feel good. That's why I don't talk to religious people. I want the real deal. Like, I want my boy to be like, yeah, nigga, you fucked up with that one. You know what I mean? Like, damn. Like I know somebody, like right now, like they got their girlfriend a job at their job. So they got their girlfriend a job where they work. And I'm like, dang, that wasn't bright. Because what is the problem with that? You get the person that you're dating because you think it's going to go somewhere, but you get the person that you're dating a job where you work, and then the relationship fails. But now you got to see this person regular. And then, to make matters worse, you brought the person in to work at the job that you work at, and then you break up, and then she goes and gets with a nigga that's at your job. And now you gotta sit there and look at that in your face. I'm like, nigga, you know better, right? Like, this is like reverse don't shit where you eat. But like you literally like, you're not supposed to shit where you eat, but you literally eat where you you eat where you shit. Like that don't make no sense. Right? But see, men are gonna tell other men the real deal, like, nah, nigga, you fucked up. You know what I mean? Like that's how men have these conversations. So men are very realistic because we have to be, because the world doesn't give a fuck about our feelings and emotions and everything. The world only cares about one thing when it comes to men. Are you winning? Nigga, are you winning? If you're not winning, the world doesn't give a fuck about you. Women, on the other hand, y'all got everybody catering to you because, the powers that be think that they can make $1 off of you. They're going to feed you soap operas. They're going to feed you talk shows. They're going to feed you The View. They're going to feed you OWN and Oprah Winfrey and Up There and Ellen DeGeneres. They're going to feed you all this bullshit, right? Right? That's what they're going to do. And you're going to sit there and Olivia Pope and, oh, you empowered and yeah, girl, can't nobody stop you. So what if you a mom? So what if you overweight? So what if you got a bad attitude? So what? Girl, there's a man out there for you somewhere, girl. Don't let nobody tell you. The Lord shall provide. Y'all be coming up with all type of bullshit. That men, we don't have that. We do not have that. Until you get around a bunch of religious niggas, we don't have that. Your boys, your true boys, they're going to be like, nah, nigga, you fucked up with that one, man. What were you thinking? Like, there's a whole, like we we got to guard each other on this shit because we recognize just how fucked up, like how the world just will just utterly destroy us and cast us to the wind. And again, when you got boys and shit like that, and there's only so many people that you can trust and shit. You got your little small circle. You can't afford to let a man go down, because now you ain't got nobody covering your back. So when somebody goes down and they're like, "Yo, I need help," it behooves you to fucking help them, right? So when it comes to legitimate help, you actually trying to give real advice. But y'all women, y'all go on, we see it. Like the level of fucking delusion that women have in this world is insane. And all you got to do is spend any appreciable amount of time online engaging in these conversations. And man, it's just like, it's like that bitch thinks she thought she cooked with that one. They really think that they make sense. You know what I mean? And most of the time, your arguments basically go, you'll be talking about something like how Jamila was talking about her book and single mom and redefining shit. And the next thing you know, we're all the way over here talking about rape and pillage and misogynoir and all this other. What does that have to do with what you just said about how you want to redefine single motherhood? You can redefine it all you want. At the end of the day, most childless men don't want to deal with that situation or scenario. They just don't. They don't. They don't want to raise another man's kid. It's just that simple. Okay, y'all been running around thinking men are interchangeable like shoes for the last fucking 40 years. And motherfuckers is tired of it. They tired. We'd already seen Gen X was the last, that was the last wave. We saw Gen X do all that shit. We saw them play the baby daddy and all that other shit and get disrespected and some foul shit. And then the chick going back and she fucking with her baby daddy again and all this other stuff. After you done bought this and bought that and did this and did that. You know what I mean? You walk in your apartment and there's fucking Jordans by the door. Like, whose Jordans are these? Like, no, fuck all that. Oh, that's just DeMarcus's shoes. You know, he stopped by because he wanted to bring little DeQuarius so and so. No, we're not doing it. We're not doing it. We will go over the fence before we engage in this freaking baby mama shit. On top of the fact that the economy is all fucked to hell. And so ain't nobody got no resources to just throw out there and take care of somebody else's seeds. No, we are in the era of niggas need to take care of their own. And it's just that simple. We are in the era, if you in a relationship and you got a baby with a nigga, you better go and work that shit the fuck out. We are not in the era of just just free access to anybody and everybody's resources. No, motherfuckers are guarding their own shit. You know what I'm saying? Especially when it comes to millennials. Millennials as a collective are not better off than their boomer parents. They're not. So ain't nobody out here, they ain't trying to hear that shit. They ain't trying to eat that shit. You start talking about babies and love and course correction and everything. All we see is dollar signs. All we look at is how much is that going to cost me? How much is that going to cost? It costs, us, right? Trying to function with you. And then all the other little microaggressions and disrespect that you get for being with, a single mother. Everybody looking at you like you a sucker, including the woman herself. Like that woman that was up there on that podcast talking about how she looks at her baby daddy like he a sucker. These are the things that they just need to be said plainly. I don't know how many more ways we can say this. Y'all keep, trying to ignore all this. None of you speak. You can sit there. You can write your books. You can have your powwows with each other. As black men, we don't care. We don't care. We hold counsel with ourselves. We actually weigh out whether something is beneficial or detrimental to us. We weigh it out. Okay, and the shit that y'all talking, because you went out here recklessly a lot of times, messing with the dudes that you messing with, which is why dudes leave comments talking about choose better. Okay, the other black men are not trying to deal with that. They're just not. They're not. Black men are out here trying to keep their heads above water themselves. Last thing they need is a child sitting on their shoulders while they're trying to they're floating in the middle of the ocean on a fucking piece of wood. I mean, again, y'all think we've been playing when we talk about this whole fucked up kids to resource ratio situation in the black community. Now some people, they want to go down the route, oh, it's genocide, white supremacy this, white supremacy that, is genocide because they denying black people access to capital and everything. I totally agree with you. But I'd rather that be the statement than for a child to actually experience what it would be like growing up in a household that I have control over without fucking resources. I wouldn't fucking do that shit. You know, I mean, seriously speaking, $2,000 rent, fucking $2,000 for daycare, plus all the other shit, student loans, fucking car note payments, everything else. I don't know how some of y'all parents out here are doing, especially single moms. I don't know how y'all doing it. You know, and I think that y'all need to be more honest about the realities of you failing as opposed to running around here trying to act and brag about, you know, how much you're killing it and going in the moon and back and everything else. Y'all thought that it's such a stupid mindset. Y'all thought that there was going to be, you know, economic opportunities out here and everything. We already knew as black men that we had an adversarial relationship with white men in corporate America. We already knew that. Okay, we were never the teacher's pet. You all were. You all believed the hype. And now that y'all got the boot and whatnot after you made this Faustian deal and shit like that, now, you know, you want to sit there and talk about love and second chances and course correction and everything like that has anything to do with a man that has nothing to do with the situation that you created with the man that you created it with. And it really seems like y'all really just do not want to humble yourselves in terms of changing your mindset and dealing with the man that you laid up with. Nobody owes you a relationship. Nobody owes you a marriage. I don't know what, like men are not just, we're not just these toys that you pick up off of the shelf just because you so decide that you're done with the first nigga. It doesn't work that way. You all really have fucked up when it comes to the idea of even remotely being what men want, what black men want. You know what I'm saying? And when you come to a man and you got a kid and everything, and let's just say he is, you know, enamored with your beauty or whatever, you better come correct. You better come humble as fuck. All this shit that y'all be talking about, what you not gonna do, what you not gonna put on. You know what I mean? You know, all this attitude, like you're adding, like you're the household and you're adding him to your program. See, that's wrong orientation. Y'all got some serious wrong orientation. You know, so I don't know what else to say about it. But I'm just saying, these are the three types of black women. The fourth type of black woman, we don't hear from her very often. That's the happily married black woman. That, you know, they have no reason to come on the internet. And I would suggest to many of them, if you're happy and you're in a relationship, do not come to the internet because it's a bunch of butt hurt and emotionally damaged people. That's what's on here. Again, I didn't come on here. I done wrote the books. I got all the answers, you know, that I need. Okay, I'm still listening. I'm still, you know, always keep your ear to the streets, never reject information. But I came, I saw, I conquered. I already know what the hell's going on out here. It's not a question anymore. You know, which is what really irritates me when I listen to these people talk and all this other shit. And I can really hear when people are just not being honest about the shit. You know what I mean? Like, you know, people can kind of bullshit in their early 20s and everything. But when you middle-aged, you know what I mean? I'm like, bitch, come the fuck on. I feel like how Cap felt when he first came online. Because he was middle-aged when he first came online. I was like, nigga, come the fuck on. Like, he already knew from the jump that young people were just saying shit just to be saying shit, you know, because they thought that they could get away with it and tee-hee-hee and everything else. No, that shit is not cute in middle age. Because there's a level of maturity and whatnot. You should be able to own where you fucked up, where you fell off, where you dropped the ball, and you should be able to give younger people advice and be like, look, I hear y'all talking all this bullshit, but I'm telling you, that's not the way that it is. I'm telling you, that's not the way that it is. You know, so, you know, be on the lookout, be on guard, all that. So anyway, I'm done with this. Let me end this video. That's my video, SWP out. Don't forget to comment, share, like, and subscribe. Also, is there anything else? No, there's nothing else. But yeah, obviously, wrote the new book, Understanding White Supremacy by Sergeant Williepete. Y'all can check it out. It's on Amazon. The hard book is coming, or the what do you call that? The paperback is coming soon. I'll probably do a hard book as well. And I'll probably break up the Black Matriarchy into 4 volumes. Because I'm seeing, like, I can see, like in a Word document, that book was only like 300 pages. But in book form, it was like 500 pages because of the margins and shit like that. But I'm thinking about doing a hard book for the Understanding White Supremacy. That's going to be not only a hard book, but also in color with like the glossy pages and whatnot. You know, so I'm saying Amazon, you know, I mean, obviously that book's going to be more. That book will probably upwards of $45 to $50 for those that are interested. But there's a lot of people, you know, they don't like the digital, you know, they the paperback. They kind of want to have, like, especially in a man's, I don't know, what are they going to put my book right next to the face of Kevin Samuels and shit, like at the end of the movie, The Book of Eli. But I'm saying there's a lot of brothers that, you know, they want to have it, even if they're not going to read it. That's the weird thing. They like, I got a library and I want that motherfucker in my library. And I'm like, okay, cool. You know what I mean? So, you know, I'll be dealing with that. But yeah. So anyway, let me end this video. I got some work to do with that. So I can get that all out to you. So that's all I got to say. That's my video. SWP out. Don't forget to comment, share, like, and subscribe.
On the scene, diamond blingy whole screen. Checkerboard Louis V. I'm so fresh and so clean. Stuff them bands in my jeans. Slap them 30s in them things. Pull the trigger, let it sing. Then go smoke a Russian cream.
Boo, hold on.
Yeah.
Hello?
Where you at?
Where we at? Oh, you want to know where I'm at? We outside!